Our Gauteng Finance MEC Jacob Mamabolo was supposed to be with us yesterday, but he is here today. He tabled his budget vote for the provincial treasury, and he said the budget aims to drive economic transformation and efficient financial management. The MEC is going to elaborate a little bit on that. Good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. I thought maybe MECs have got, what do you got? Solar inverters, so you don't suffer load shedding and connection problems. Not so? I would put you there, but it's fine. 818 million rands you're saying you're going to be spending in your budget table. All of it is going to go to transformation and curbing fruitless, wasteful and irregular expenditure?
Let me start by greeting you and all the viewers. Good evening. Just to confirm that, yes, indeed, yesterday we had a press briefing following our tabling of the budget of the Department of Treasury. You'll recall that on the 9th of March this year, we presented the province-wide budget. Yes. So this one is specific to the department. Yes. And the amount of 818 million is allocated. And I must say that the strategic focus on where we really want to put this money in this financial year is to make sure that over and above allocating monies to departments, we do oversight to make sure that there's full compliance with the Public Finance Management Act and, of course, the Municipal Finance Management Act. Okay. To that extent, we are strengthening clean governance, clean audits. Yeah. And that is why in our budget you'll see that a very big amount of money goes to what we call the Gauteng Audit Services. Okay. This is our provincial transversal capacity for risk management. This is very much important because as we allocate monies into departments, focusing on townships, on informal settlements, on hostels, yes, and the priorities that the Premier has announced, as we direct money, reposition our fiscal instruments to look into the townships, we also have to make sure that we don't incur irregular expenditure, fruitless, wasteful, unauthorized expenditure. Right. So to that extent, we're looking at that. The second critical area is if we are to ensure that there's cash and liquidity flowing into the townships in line with the aims and objectives of the Township Development Economy Act, that is going to depend on supply chain, because for people in the township to benefit, there are essentially two ways. One of them is to participate in supply chain relating to what we call goods and services. The other part is procurement relating to capital expenditure, that's infrastructure spending. So if that is to happen, if we are to make sure that money flows into the townships and people participate, it means we again have to reposition the supply chain function. So that's why part of the big budget is going there. We have to make sure that we get data because we need to see quarter per quarter. Yes. How is each department performing? Are the departments in the province spending their monies in the townships? And what is the quarterly performance? Yeah. Because monitoring and evaluation is important. We should be able to say to you, we used to be at this percentage in this quarter, we have improved or we didn't improve. Yeah. So that we can give real data, correct data that says...
So is that what the 10 technical advisors are going to be doing? And where a chunk of the money in the Gauteng Audit Services going to go to? What do they come with? Do they come with an office? Is this just one individual? How much are they costing us as the Gauteng province? And what powers do they have? Are you not creating a similar situation where you are appointing technical advisors that you will be deploying across various municipalities, but they'll be just glorified project managers and mayors and municipal managers can just ignore them?
So just maybe on that issue, so when you look at the strategic thrust of the budget is to strengthen our oversight function.
Yeah.
And that's why I was mentioning those areas. So one of them, which I was about to come to,
yeah.
and then you came in before me, but well done on that. It's oversight on municipalities. I think, if I'm not mistaken, subject to correction, last time when I spoke to you here, we were discussing the Tshwane situation,
That's right.
where they couldn't pass
the budget,
their midterm budget.
Yeah.
And it's only when we threatened to withdraw money that they quickly voted and passed the budget. So the situation in the municipalities is quite serious. And the best way to do it is to build capacity. Because using the tactics of we'll withdraw money, we'll do this and that, it's good to enforce compliance, but you need to build sustainable capacity. So we have appointed, for all the municipalities except the metros, we have appointed technical advisors. This is a diverse team of men and women who are highly qualified and competent in the municipal space. And they're allocated to the municipalities because we have visited municipalities after meeting with the Auditor General. And when we got reports that really painted a worrying trend in the municipality. So we're not creating a red tape or a bureaucratic layer, but this is a value-add function, and you'll see that we're putting almost about 90, we're reinforcing that function with 90 million to make sure that we're able to do overall oversight. If you look at just Mohali City itself, it was also getting into the same space.
Yeah.
So strengthening capacity for municipalities to manage their finances in line with the Municipal Finance Management Act is part and parcel of us doing the oversight function. There's just one point I wanted to add about supply chain, that the reason why we are strengthening supply chain over and above making sure that we support township-based entrepreneurs is also to fight corruption. You know, one of the challenges we have in the province, and given also the huge sums of money we are managing, is that when acts of corruption come out or happen, the consequence management part of it,
yes.
not in all respect, but to a large extent,
Yes.
our our capacity for prompt, swift action is also dependent on the audit trail, what the system can tell you. You can be able to take preliminary, very decisive steps,
Yeah.
but our systems now are not where I think they should be.
Certain.
So
let's practicalize
this.
So people are going to say we're speaking big English and we're speaking jargon. Let's take a simple situation. National gives what you call urban development grant to the municipality in Tshwane. Part of what that grant is supposed to do is to upgrade the wastewater treatment infrastructure and the wastewater purification infrastructure. It's a particular portion of money that needs to be allocated there. In some instances, I think they say the Constitution says, is it 10% of what you collect that you must allocate towards maintenance of infrastructure and so on and so forth. The municipality doesn't do that, right? And National says, well, we can only regulate, and sometimes we'll take them to court and force them to say, no, but fix this thing. But obviously that money that is supposed to go there goes elsewhere. How does your oversight and the money that you are now pumping into there come into that situation and make sure that money is actually allocated to go and fix that water treatment plant?
Well, I think you're talking about the Urban Settlement Development Grant.
Yeah.
So the fact that it is a grant from National itself means the national government set up the policy framework and determines oversight on performance, on priorities, and what that money can be done. And I must say to that extent that I think national departments, I know that whenever grants are not utilized for what they are supposed to be utilized, the policy applies this intervention. When such grants are not fully utilized, the monies are then withdrawn.
But this is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to say we don't want it to get to that point where the grant is now taken back instead of actually being used where it's supposed to be used to. Is there no in the idea of the district development model where all these spheres are supposed to be able to work and talk to each other? Province cannot intervene at that point to say we are also watching this grant and it should be going there and it is not going there.
No, absolutely. That's part of our oversight function. That's what we are doing. I was just explaining that the policy determination and, of course, intervention sit with the department that is responsible for the grant. But it is certainly part and parcel of our oversight in municipalities to make sure that grants such as the municipal infrastructure grants, this one which is mainly for the metros, all of them are used to achieve the objectives for which they are meant to achieve. So to that extent, you're absolutely right. And the teams we have deployed are not just looking at money allocated by the province. They're looking at all the resources in the municipalities, and that's part of the oversight function. For example, national government through a national treasury plays a very critical role in the metros. We work together with them. They don't have oversight in the local municipalities. But in all fairness, and COCTA as well. So interventions in municipalities, oversight and ensuring that they do what they have to do is done by various departments, and it's done through principles of cooperative governance, which are laid down in law in the Constitution. So to that extent, that work is being done, and where there's a need for intervention, such interventions are made.
Quick one, I have a minute left. Where do I start? Okay, let's speak about the state bank. Gauteng saying it's going to do its state bank. How much of your money are you allocating towards that work, and where is that work at right now?
Yes, let me say to the viewers that the function of the additional responsibility we have been given of a provincial pharmaceutical company and the state bank, it's on track. With the state bank, we are quite advanced with the due diligence to check the legal framework and to create legal certainty. This is a highly sensitive area. We have just concluded a memorandum of understanding with UNISA, the University of South Africa. It's an institution with good research to make sure that this work goes through what is called, we have properly applied our mind based on sound research. This is very critical because, and very important, and I wish I could talk about the state pharmaceutical company as well. This is very important because once the due diligence is done and we are able to do maybe surveys, research, consultation through UNISA, we will then be able to go to cabinet and make a determination. If we want to create financial investment capacity for development in the township, high impact productive assets, make sure that we can be able to have manufacturing base in the townships, all high employment activities in the townships, a bank is going to be very critical because currently banks looks at townships as very risky areas for investment, and it is therefore critical that the state, through its capacity, should be able to intervene in the townships and to make sure that we can support SMMEs but also invest right there to create real productive assets. So that task is on track, and we want to do it properly. It's a very critical function. We're seeing globally a high rate of failure of banks. So we need to make sure that the bank that we're going to set up will have developmental capacity for financing productive assets, is sustainable, it's efficient, it's effective. Same with the pharmaceutical state bank. That one, the legal due diligence is fully completed. Very interesting. It actually shows that there are no legal impediments to doing this work. It just says you need to tick this and that box to tie things up. We're looking at a situation. If you just go to Bara, you find long queues there. The most vulnerable, the elderly, women, looking for chronic medication. They go there from time to time. Technology is quite advanced. The freight and logistics companies are delivering things on the doorstep of people. So the entity which is called the medical table, which sits in the Department of Health, is unable to do what it's supposed to do and adjust and adapt to the current conditions because it's held back by the bureaucratic stranglehold in the Department of Health.
I wish
so
we're
making good progress on that front. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
We're pressed for time. Unfortunately, I'm going to let it go
Thank
here.
you.
Much appreciated, MEC. Thank you very much for coming on. That's the MEC for Finance in the Gauteng province.